first and second overall pick. Texans coming off their bye, slow start in Carolina, and then really just weren't able to get their footing. They had a fumble at the goal line, which really pretty much was the difference in this game.
Yeah, the credit I can give to both teams is that defensively played great. The Panthers defense has some nice players on their team. We like Brian Burns a lot. And I know that they've been banged up in their secondary. So, I give credit to them shutting down a Texans offense that at certain points in the season has played pretty well. Not the best day for CJ Stroud. Dameon Pierce just letting down everybody. Just the amount of times he gets stuffed on the goal line is so frustrating. Dameon Pierce, I don't know what happened from last year to this year. He was so good last year, and now this year he's really taken a step back. It's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, because you drafted him.
Well, not even because of my fantasy team. It's like just on the field. Like he went from averaging like 4 to 5 yards a carry to averaging like 2.9 yards a carry. Like not getting it done. Really holding the team back. Devin Singletary's playing better than him currently. God rest his soul. But for the Panthers, made some big plays. Their kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, Hall of Fame at this point.
Yeah.
With the amount of field goals he kicked in this game. I'm glad they actually got a touchdown. Tommy Tremble got in the end zone. But it didn't change my opinions much about the Panthers. And for the Texans, I think that they still have exceeded expectations, but I think you're going to see games like this from time to time.
Yeah, and with the Texans, my thing with them is you played well in September. This is a young team that's performing above expectations. They are better than most people thought they would be. Most people thought they would be by far one of the worst teams in the league, and they've been able to go out there and look impressive at some times, and then that's really all you want from this team this year. They're ahead of schedule. You just want to see something from DeMeco Ryans. You want to see him start to change that culture, which has happened. CJ Stroud is a rookie quarterback. They're going to get some tape on him, and he's going to go through times where he's going to struggle a little bit, especially when you have Nico Collins, who's a rookie wide receiver, Tank Dell, and Dameon Pierce not playing like he did last year. He's not as dynamic. So when you put all of those factors together, I thought this was a team that was lacking a lot of talent on offense. So I thought I was impressed with what they did earlier this season, but you're also going to have games when you don't have that much talent. CJ Stroud isn't playing out of his mind. The defense is adjusting and seeing what you're going to do. You're just going to have some games where it's going to be hard to score, especially with this team, especially with Dameon Pierce. You mentioned he's averaging about 2 yards a carry now. Devin Singletary is your back. I'm not in love with him, even though he was okay in Buffalo, but your offensive line still has to step up, and then they'll get exposed when you're in those cold weather games. And then just your receivers aren't good enough to get it done. Dalton Schultz is a nice tight end, but he's not changing your world like a TJ Hawkinson. He's not changing your world. He's not a luxury like Cole Kmet is. He's not Travis Kelce. He's not George Kittle. So this team is going to get some dynamic weapons in the draft next year, and they're going to take that massive leap that the Jags did, that the Lions did next year. And then this year, it's just, all right, we know what we have in CJ Stroud, and let's find a way to get better week in and week out. And then teams are going to want to go there. They're going to want to play for DeMeco Ryans, so they're going to have a great free agency, and players are going to love playing with CJ Stroud as well, so you get some veteran leadership and veterans on defense. So it's just games like this are going to happen when you're lacking talent.
Yeah, exactly. And I still think this is a game that they probably should have won, especially you're right on the goal line. Andrew Beck fumbles it, probably should have been a touchdown. But, I give credit to the Panthers. They got the win. They played well defensively, and they moved the ball a little bit better than they have in weeks past. But my takeaway also, we talk about DeMeco Ryans, we talk about the future of the Texans, and with those two picks, going out there and having the second and third pick, and you hit on your picks, CJ Stroud, probably the offensive rookie of the year, and then Will Anderson, I want to talk about him for a minute. He is top 5 in win rate among edge rushers, and that includes people like Myles Garrett, Mofi May out in Seattle, who's 5 straight games with the sack. We'll talk about him later.
TJ Watt?
TJ Watt too. Yeah. So we're talking about win rate. He's got like a 27% win rate, which is among the top 5 in the NFL. So he's already cementing himself as a top edge rusher in the league. And he's only 8 games in. So they hit on both their defensive piece and their offensive piece. So look to them next year. They have a bunch of talent on defense already. I feel like their defense has already overperformed. They were pretty good last